So, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. Hello, Guardians. Breaking up the soul frame pattern here a bit to shovel more shit on top of a pile that really doesn't need anymore. But Destiny 2 being the sole reason I am here before you today at all, I'm going to speak on it. I'm going to talk about the state of Destiny 2, the delay news for Shadow and Order, which I have a lot of copium for, a lot of delusions about, but I do, at its core, think this delay is a good thing. So, if you are for some reason watching this video, you probably already know that Shadow and Order has been delayed 3 months to June 9th. June is about when we were expecting to be receiving Shattered Cycle, the next major expansion for Destiny 2. And now we're only going to be receiving what was supposed to be a free major update. All of these things that they state specifically in this tweet are good. Pantheon 2.0, pump it into my veins, please. The upgrading tiered gear, bringing exotics up to tier 5, giving all legacy raid and dungeon stuff tiered gear. Like, those are all very good things. At the end of the day, though, if that is the bulk of what is being added to this major update, it is not enough. If Bungie plans to continue on with Destiny 2 as it is, shoving out expansions, cramming expansions into it, it's not enough. Honestly, I am expecting Destiny 2 Age of Triumphs. I am going to hop on the copium train for a little bit here and say that it's going to be the end of Destiny 2. I have many thoughts for what comes after. I hate saying Destiny 3. I hate it. I can't stand it. Feels bad in my mouth. It tastes bad in my mouth. I hate it. And the reason I say this Destiny 2 Age of Triumphs thing is because right now we're in the Fate Saga. The Fate Saga surrounds the Nine, and the Nine are a very useful tool for the narrative to be driven, pushed, and changed in pretty much any way Bungie wants. And I really do feel that it could be a good opportunity for them to make some lore thing where the Nine do something and we receive Destiny 3. One of the first videos I made on the channel, not I would argue is not even as well spoken or well written as this, was a video where I just kind of showed some gameplay of me doing something and yapped about Destiny 3. And even in that video, going back to Lightfall when I made that video, which is about 3 years now, I did not call it Destiny 3. I called it Destiny. And what I pictured for Destiny is that they leave Destiny 1. Maybe they remaster Wrath of the Machine just to do the trifecta. But what I envisioned was unvaulting of all of the Destiny 2 content that is currently inaccessible entirely, the dropping of old gen, the introduction of dedicated servers, and a lot of hope that these things, regardless of how little knowledge I have or experience I have with how feasible those technical challenges even are, that they could give Bungie a platform that has a much better technical foundation in order to keep putting out Destiny content without needing to do a hard wipe, without having to clean out people's vaults, without forcing us to start over and putting us in potentially an even worse situation than with the launch of Destiny 2 in 2017 or whatever it was. Feels like a lifetime ago for me, personally. But that's for another video, right? So in this Destiny, they bring back all the old stuff. They give themselves this platform, but where do they go from there? And obviously, now we have the Fate Saga. So where they would go from there would be the Fate Saga, whatever's next for Shattered Cycle, for the Alchemist, so on and so forth. Now, to sidetrack tangent a little bit here, I would like to point out that historically, expansions that have had a delay in the lead up, expansions that have had a serious extension of the season leading up to them, have been some of the best. One of the examples of that being, of course, Witch Queen, Final Shape itself. But we are not getting another Forsaken. We may not get a Destiny 3. We probably will not get a Destiny Classic. And personally, I've never been a big fan of Destiny Classic. While it would be cool to have Destiny 1 redone with a lot of the D2 systems that we've grown used to, and maybe even Bungie experimenting for a Destiny 3 or whatever, I personally just don't like that. I'm just not a fan of it. Now, in terms of setting our realistic expectations and being less delusional, looking at the fact that expansions that have a massive delay leading up to them have been good, this, that, whatever, like that gives you your reasonable expectation for Shattered Cycle. You know, the Shattered Cycle still drops. Maybe they surprise us with some dedicated servers after they learn how it works with Marathon. Maybe they do finally drop old gen. Maybe they don't. 3 years ago, in the video I made during Lightfall, before we'd even gotten the delay for Final Shape, I started talking about the need for old gen to be dropped. And I've seen that conversation grow. I've seen a lot of other people really agree. And at this point, there just is no excuse. I do feel that Bungie only having Destiny and have gone all in on Destiny definitely wasn't right either. They do need Marathon. They need another IP of some sort because they need to grow the studio, and they aren't going to grow it just through Destiny. I mean, looking at like Call of Duty, maybe, but Activision, they're not just on Call of Duty. They have all sorts of other games and things, and so inevitably there is no right answer. Okay, there just isn't. Now, another hypothetical. In my perfect world where we get this Destiny, that the main goal for Bungie is to set up a platform that they can really launch solid, stable, good content onto. Maybe they do give us a Destiny Classic in this world, right? Like we have Destiny 2 for what it is for a while or whatnot. But the best thing I can think of in terms of if we got a Destiny Classic is that they roll it out over a couple years, 2, 3 years, and they straight up say, "Hey, the first drop, it's gonna be everything up through Taken King. The second drop will be everything else." That could be cool, you know? We get Rise of Iron redone, we get Wrath, probably better than it even would have been being put in Destiny 2. And that could buy them time to make a Destiny 3, to make a Destiny whatever, to make Destiny. And it almost seems feasible. But I'm at the point personally where I do not expect it to happen. I do not have any expectations. I, years ago, realized that, you know, through other people's accounts and experience, that like you can't invest emotionally, you can't put too much of your own happiness into any game. You just can't. And after enough years of that, you realize that you can look at it from outside and see all of these different potential options and things that could happen. And I still, 3 years later, really, really hope that Bungie, by some miracle, does what I laid out with my Destiny. Personally, I never got to play Forsaken. I did have a brief opportunity to play Forsaken, but just never got around to it because that's how life is. Talking, what was that? Season of the Lost, when I started really playing the game again. I never got to play the Leviathan raid. Last Wish is the oldest Destiny 2 raid I've been able to do. And so I obviously have a lot of bias in terms of wanting them to make this Destiny where they bring back all this content. They really technically test it with all of this content that they don't really have because they've told us at times that they'd be making these things from the ground up or whatever. But at this point, if Marathon doesn't succeed, I'm not expecting anything out of either. Like I'm being realistic. I want both games to succeed. I want Bungie to succeed. I want more Destiny. In the past 6 months, year, I've reached my personal pinnacle of achievements in the game with becoming a solo player, contests, growing who I'm playing with and going into contests with, and really expanding on being able to not only grow myself as a player but help others, right? But inevitably those skills translate a lot of other places. If you're some reason 12 minutes into this video me yapping about Destiny, you know that I've been cranking out a little bit on Soulframe. Soulframe I love quite a lot. And it's funny to me because I was never much of a fan of Warframe. I've tried Warframe 5 to 10 times, and I probably will end up grinding it depending on what happens with the future of Destiny in particular. But I was just never much of a fan. But Soulframe just has something to it, man. It's something about it pulls me in, and I just like I have to have everything that's in that game. So you'll be seeing more shorts and videos from me on it. I have a builds video, or we might do it as multiple videos coming down the pipeline. Given that Preludes 13 has changed up a lot of things there, but I'm getting very, very distracted now. So to try and, I guess, conclude things a little bit here, I'm excited for Pantheon 2.0. I'm excited that these quality of life changes that I really wanted to see in Renegades are being laid out in writing as, hey, they're coming. It feels better, despite the fact that I do feel it is too late. But I would not be surprised at all if this is Destiny 2 Age of Triumphs. I would not be surprised at all if they end up announcing a Destiny 3 or a new Destiny, and for some reason, we don't even end up getting it. I could absolutely see a world where they announce a new Destiny, but we simply don't even get it. Because if Marathon doesn't succeed, Destiny doesn't succeed. And Marathon looks cool as hell. I'm going to be playing the crap out of the server slam next week. I'm so excited for that. I've been the beginning of this year I have been streaming a lot less. And part of that is how much crazy I went last year. Part of it is my lack of motivation to really sit and grind these solo challenges like I've been doing. I obviously still have challenges I want to undertake. I now have an extra 3 months to solo flawless vaulted last with the kill shot mod. I now have an extra 3 months to go do solo Iatros, which in only a day or two, I really grew a lot on that solo, but I just, it's sometimes it's okay to admit that it's time for a break. And I think that for many of you, it may be time to simply sit down and reflect and go, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time for a break. It's okay to say that I still love Destiny and I still want more Destiny, and you're still maybe going to play a little bit here and there between Shadow and Order and whatever's after. But it's okay to take a break. It is absolutely okay. So, Bungie, my Destiny, pretty please. At the very least, if you're gonna try and continue with Destiny 2, please hear us out in dropping old gen. If Marathon's dedicated servers really work out for you, please give it a try with Destiny. I know for a fact that Destiny players would be more than willing to give up even, hell, 3 to 6 months of being able to play it all for you guys to roll out dedicated servers for Destiny. I hope we move away from talking about Destiny Classic as a community. I blame Aztecross a lot for that. But I think like it could buy them time, but given the position we're in, I think a Destiny Classic flat out is a waste of dev time. They should experiment technically with the things I've talked about with Destiny 2, try and cram stuff into Destiny 2 that we don't have, really put a bow on it and move on. As much as I want my Destiny, and as much as I have said a lot of times in this video that I hate saying Destiny 3, after sitting here and yapping to this camera for 17 minutes, I feel even more confident that a Destiny 3, a new Destiny from Bungie is the way forward. And if we're really, really, really lucky, when they announce what the name of this is going to be, since it's no longer going to be Shadow and Order, if we're lucky, it'll be Destiny 2 Age of Triumphs. And it would make complete sense, right? All the raids are having refreshed armor and weapons. Exotics are getting the tier 5 treatment finally. Hell, maybe they'll put more stuff on Prismatic. Maybe they'll flush out the subclasses. That's actually something I didn't even think of. Is that something else that they could do with this update is introduce some more things to Prismatic. They could flush out the subclasses to have more stuff in general. And that would be really cool. And that's one thing I don't really think I've seen anyone talking about, is the fact that we could, now this is less copium, this is less delusional than some of the things we've talked about in this video. But who knows, maybe we could see some stuff like that coming with this update. Do I expect any of that? No, I really don't. I don't think it's realistic. Maybe another Darkness Super for each of the subclasses, but I doubt it. But yeah, I think that about wraps up what I wanted to talk about. Last night I wrote out basically a script for what I was going to say, but I've gone completely off it and just kind of used it as notes. I still want a long-term plan. And I'm not saying roadmap for a specific reason, because we're at the point with this game and the shakeup that we need to see literally from Bungie that I want them to lay out a long-term plan. A long-term plan of, hey, here's how we're going to wrap up D2. Here's what we're going to try to do to give you guys something in the meantime. And here's the way forward. And here is how we are going to tackle a lot of the big things people have been asking for. And obviously a new title, it's safe to assume they drop old gen, hopefully dedicated servers, blah, blah, blah. Running in circles at this point with those topics. But anyway. Once again, I'm very excited for Marathon. Very, very excited for it. And yeah, I think that's going to be the real wrap up here. 20 minutes of yapping, cohesive or not, it's okay. Look out for Soulframe videos if you're interested in those. Look out for me being live. I still have 5 Soulframe Preludes keys to give away on stream. Nobody's come and claimed them. Not yet. But yeah. Parodica ad Astra. See you on Tau Ceti.